Hey, welcome to K98 Radio. Today we are listening to all the smooth tunes of the past. I was one glass window away from a connection to the whole city. Randall was giving me the tour. The place felt cramped. It only took up one floor. The place felt empty. It took only 2 people to run the whole setup. With the invention of the internet, this all seemed out of date. So we walked into the next room. Then it seemed different, like a treasure room. Old vinyls and CDs took up all the space they could, leaving just enough room for a set of cassettes and some oddballs. The ceiling and the associated walls and corners had old posters of bands time had forgotten, but this room hadn't. Randall began running his hands over stacks, trying to see what would catch my eyes. I didn't know exactly how art correlated with music, but I was about to find out. Album after album, Randall popped on, watching my reaction as we partook in some herb, which was about the one thing we had in common. It had been some time since I rolled a blunt, but he was a natural. Randall made it look so cool, I was considering throwing out my pipe. Pop had its charm, while rap was a bit too much for my taste. Punk had a vibe of adolescence, while country was a bit too country for my liking. It was all interesting, but none of it was me. And then Randall picked up another record. The cover was of The Corner of a House. It was simple. Then the music took over. It was sad, and yet filled with emotion. The music was slow, but kind of upbeat. As he watched my head move, he popped on another album. The guttural voice of pain resonated with me. The lyrics of pain and loss took hold of me, and Randall could tell as he popped on another track. I wasn't sure what I was listening to, but he did. He called it Midwest emo, like so many on the internet. Before I could even think about how this music was making me feel, Randall started making me a mixtape. No, not a playlist. No, not a CD. It was an old school mixtape on cassette. I didn't even have a way to play this, which didn't seem to worry him as he pulled out an old Walkman with old wired headphones. I couldn't protest. He wouldn't let me. He said that's what friends are for. I think I'm starting to have too many friends. It's been some time before I went for a walk. Not since the accident. This time I had music to keep me company. And I bet if I looked up, I'd see a friendly crow watching me from above. But when I looked up from the sidewalk into the sky above the building, that was not what I saw. I saw stars, then black. Now all I see are hospital lights. I was in a bed. It hurt to move my arm. I couldn't raise it to touch my hair. I had a scar from my collarbone to my shoulder. My head was pounding. As I sat up, a nurse stopped me. "Can you tell me your name?" What kind of question was that? I just shook my head. "Do you know what the date is?" I should have known this, but I didn't. "Can you give me your birthday, please?" I just sat there trying to think. I couldn't remember my birthday. That's associated with my name that I also couldn't remember. Then she raised her fingers and did a light test. My motor functions seemed fine, but my memory was fuzzy. Guess I won't know if my legs work until I try. I attempted to get up again as the nurse stopped me. I felt my muscles tense up as I tried to push through her. "Sir, I'm going to need you to calm down." Why couldn't I remember anything? What happened to me? I just winced as she grabbed my left arm. "Hey, get your hands off my brother!" Then suddenly there was a voice in the room. It was loud and assertive. The nurse pulled back as I settled back into bed. Then she entered the room. She was tall and a bit gangly. Her glasses were big and angry. Her hair was shoulder length and dark. She had on a woman's suit. Her crooked nose caught me off guard. Wait. Did she call me her brother? Soon a doctor entered the room. Ma'am, I'm going to need you to calm down. She got in his face. She seemed angry. Your brother has amnesia. It seems he was hit by a falling roof tile. We're not sure how serious it is. His memory should come back slowly, but only time will tell. The doctor was tall, bold, handsome, curvy, muscular, scruffy. My eyes shot all around at all the detail on this man as I sat up, starting to freak out. She came right to my side, but as she put her hand on my shoulder, I ached in pain. Without warning, she pulled my hospital shirt down, revealing the big scar. What happened to his shoulder? She seemed just as surprised as me. The doctor tried to calm her down fast. We assure you, this recent accident has not inflicted the last one. And then she froze. She just stared off, muttering the doctor's words to herself. I just let scenes play around me. What was his last accident? She spoke through gritted teeth as she tried to uncover the truth. We waited in uncomfortable silence as the nurse went to get another form. She didn't even look at me, and I didn't know what to say. Even if she was my sister, I didn't know her. I didn't know anyone. I had to think of something to ask. Where are Mom and Dad? It was the first thing I could think to ask. I think it touched a nerve, because her face finally looked at me with a fuming anger. You really don't remember anything? Anything at all? Like, who I am? I just shook my head. All the anger seemed to wash from her face as she pinched her eyes close. Okay, here we are. James was in a car accident. The drunk driver hit a motorcycle that then slid across the ground, hitting him on foot. I slightly pulled on my arm as I listened to the doctor's words. My name was James, but what was hers? The doctor explained all the scans I received and the surgery I was put through. Apparently, there was a metal screw in my shoulder. There was an obvious question that I couldn't bring myself to ask, but she could. Why wasn't I informed? As it turned out, my sister was my emergency contact, but I requested her not to be contacted in favor of another woman named Laura. Laura? But where's... She didn't finish her sentence. She didn't look like she wanted to. Who is this Laura person? Suddenly she looked at me, but I had no answer. And then the doctor cut in. James, do you know the name of your sister? Everyone was looking at me. I was drawing a blank, so I just shook my head. It's Maddie. Her voice was quiet. Give me his phone. I'll see if I can reach someone. Her voice was calm. Once my phone entered her hands, she seemed shocked at something. Then she tossed it to me. My lock screen was of some kind of colorful cartoon. I swiped up as a number pad came in. Maddie was watching me carefully, but I didn't know what to do. She just scoffed. She asked the doctor if I was okay to go home, and soon I was in a wheelchair being pushed out to the front of the building. Maddie just helped me onto my feet and into her nice little four-door. I really can't remember anything. When I close my eyes, I see a woman, but it's not her. Is it this Laura chick? Maddie turned on the radio, and nothing seemed familiar. I just studied Maddie's face, but nothing came to mind. When the car finally stopped, she reached into the back seat, and her hand was what looked like an old cassette player. This was found on your body. Does it look familiar? Again, I just shook my head. She rolled her eyes as she put the earbuds in, making sure the batteries were in correctly, and then she just started skipping songs. Her lips curled with disgust as she pulled out the buds. Here, listen to this. And like that, she popped them in my ears. I was overwhelmed by the music. It was slow and fast at the same time, with whiny, moody lyrics. I didn't remember any of these songs, but my foot did begin to tap. She seemed angry at me. She just pulled out the earbuds before she exited the car. I just followed her. I couldn't remember this place. a nice blue Suburban. How does a person get their memories back? My phone hasn't buzzed, pinged, or rang. Do I not have friends? Maddie yelled, trying to get me to come inside. It was cramped inside, with boxes of stuff in front of the TV, and boxes of stuff in front of the fridge, and even more boxes covering the walls. There were pictures in spots. I didn't recognize anyone in these photos. Well, except for Maddie, I guess. I wasn't in any of them. There was a large man next to her in this one. The edges were frayed, and something was spilled on it. He was old, and they kind of looked alike. Was this my dad? Maddie was just watching me as she stirred her drink. Coffee, I think. I think she was waiting for a response to come out of me. Who's Laura? She asked me point blank, like I could just tell her. I shook my head. Are you missing work? Again, I shook my head. Where the fuck is your girlfriend? And suddenly I saw an image of a girl. She was tall maybe, with blonde hair, or maybe short brown hair, light skin. No, dark I think. I don't know who that is. I'm sorry. I kept my voice low, but it didn't cure her anger. And then suddenly her mood changed. I've waited so long for you to forget about her. Just sucks that you forgot about me too. Maddie's words dragged her to the couch as she plopped down. I wasn't sure what I was supposed to be doing, but piecing together things seemed right. And for some reason this girlfriend was the furthest thing from my mind. Who is this? I pulled the picture from its place as I attempted to get an answer. There was a pause as she looked up. Her eyes looked dead, decaying even. That's our father. She turned her attention to the TV. She said nothing more on the man smiling in the picture with her. I turned back to the photos. I wasn't in any of these. You didn't care. I stopped. I just stood back, turned, waiting for her to say more. You weren't there when he needed you. Maddie stood with her words. I just put the picture down. I just backed away. Why hasn't anyone called me? I kept the couch between us as we spoke, but that didn't matter as she moved around it. Because you don't have any friends. You made sure of that. It's pathetic the life you live with that girl. Maddie really let me have it. As she grabbed my shoulders, making sure I couldn't get away. James, look at me and understand you are alone because of her. I didn't know this her. I don't think I want to. And then suddenly, something inside me snapped, and without reason, I pushed her away. Stop! Don't you dare talk to me like that! Maddie turned her brave, angry face into fear and confusion. I just felt tears leave my face. Memories started flowing back to me. All at once. Not all of them, just selected ones. You don't get to talk to me like that. Not now. Maddie covered her mouth, trying to figure out the mistake she made. I just attempted to grab my face with both hands, only for the pain to come back, and then I found myself using my good arm to strike the couch over and over. Not even. I dragged my knees, going on in a somber rage. Not without her. She told me I was a waste of space, and now I'm alone. Maddie watched the position I took, curled up on the floor in shock. I don't think she had ever seen me like this. Not when we got lost on that stupid road trip, or the time our campsite had a grisly visitor, or even now with me curled up behind the couch. I pulled myself up as I caught the photo on the fireplace again. Dad looked so happy. He was always so happy. And I remember the last thing he wanted to see before death. I was shaking. I didn't know what was going on. Everything was fuzzy. And then out of nowhere, she just hugged me. It felt familiar, but not from her. It didn't stop the crying. I don't think my sister ever saw me cry until this moment. Crying was always for the weak, and I was never allowed to be that. She's gone. These two words didn't make her nudge, but my next few did. No, I'm gone away for good. I was quiet and somber while she was consoling and alive. I too was alive, probably more alive than I've ever been in a long time. I just pulled back to catch the look on my face. She told me I was taking up too much space. I spoke through the tears, and so did she. James? I pushed her away. I didn't want her to see me cry, even though it was too late. No. I can't take this anymore. I just rushed to the door. Maddie tried to pull me back, but I fought her. Stop! You're only making things worse. My words pushed her back as I struggled with the locked door. I just kicked it, screamed at it, and collapsed in front of it, coughing up mucus under a freshly cleaned carpet. I just banged my head against the door until I didn't. I saw her in my mind. It was clear she was there, and I wasn't, because she wanted nothing to do with me. Maddie just crept close to me. I don't need her. Maddie just nodded to my words. I did everything for her. Maddie just slid down the wall next to me. Why doesn't she want me? Am I broken? Maddie just hugged me. No words, no remarks, just hugs, through the tears catching on my hair. Maddie thought some fresh air would do us some good. We just sat on the front porch until she spoke. Where are you staying? Did she kick you out? It was so frustrating. Everything was so fuzzy. I just shook my head. I don't know. I can't remember. It was coming to me, I think. I just pushed my palm into my head, trying to jog the memories. She kept the car and the apartment. I've got stuff, my computer, soldering kit, cage. Maddie seemed puzzled at the last item, just like me. Why didn't... Maddie paused and thought, why didn't you call me when it was all happening? I just shook my head. Because I left you on Dad's deathbed. I was the one thing he wanted to see, and I wasn't there. I spoke with brutal honesty as I wiped my face. And then I wanted to think of something happy, but it wouldn't come. Something else did, though, as a bird landed on the porch. It was strange, stark black, and very chirpy. As he hopped around me, I noticed something on his foot. Is that an AirTag? Maddie was quick to notice the tracking device. What a strange creature someone would want to track. And then it spoke. Nickel! Nickel! Something compelled me to search for a coin. And when I didn't have one, I grabbed Maddie, who only had a quarter. As I dropped the coin, the bird picked it up in his mouth. Ice cream! Maddie was in shock, but I wasn't. Hey, do you have any vanilla ice cream? Maddie didn't know how to respond. She just sat, watching as I stood up. I held out my hand as Rocky jumped, floating onto my good arm. Maddie, I'd like you to meet my good friend Rocky. She was stunned. With nothing to say, she just waited for something else to happen, and then it did. A yellow bug quickly pulled up, almost clipping the sidewalk. Oh, thank God, we found him. I told you it would work. Simon was shouting to the others as he climbed out of the car. I had to move my arm out of the way quickly to avoid Rocky being squished by the incoming hug. Emily wasted no time with words and just embraced me. Amaya was the last to get out of the car. Oh, James, we were so worried when we couldn't get a hold of you. Emily looked like she was about to cry, while Simon just looked relieved. And Amaya? She couldn't take her eyes off me. Turns out, none of us have your number. Simon pulled out his phone, begging me for my number, as did everyone else. I complied as I pulled out my phone. It was ringing. It was Laura. I just pressed the green button. Sorry, James. I've been at work. Is everything okay? Nobody can find you. Her voice was warm and kind, like all their voices were. Everything is fine. Apparently a brick hit me in the head, but I'm okay now. Thank you. She wanted to ramble on after me, so I just hung up. James, Who are these people? Maddie finally had something to say, something to ask. She got a pretty good answer. We are his friends. I'm Simon, and this is my wife Emily, and that's Amaya. Conversation started around me as I just stood in limbo. And soon my phone was back in my hands, but not for long. I can't believe you don't have your sister's number. Maddie was always a bit forceful. She even texted herself on my phone just to make sure we had connection. And in that moment, I could feel it. Connection.